Hey, Mariner fans, welcome back to another episode of Monday Mojo. My name is Max Schwabi, here with my co-host Chris Soba, Chris Weifel, and our producer Evan Barron. This is our 28th episode coming at you Sunday, 9/12. We were flirting with what? This was the closest we've ever been to the wild card.
We were a game back at one point. Now we're
a game back and didn't finish off with the Arizona Diamondback series like we would have wanted to. However, there are still several reasons to be looking forward to. Isn't that right? Am I wrong?
I think the word is optimistic.
Optimistic. There are several reasons to be optimistic.
Full.
Right. Because we have the Boston Red Sox coming to town. And that means we can do some serious damage if we wanted to. Now, the question is, do we want to?
I think that sure shit they want to. We want to.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got to do what we've been doing all year, which is play shitty against shitty teams and then pick it up against the good teams. We just did part A, which is play poorly against a poor team. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks. That's a stinger. That's a big stinger. Nothing you want to see at home. The Diamondbacks, don't forget that the Diamondbacks at one point had 27 losses in a row on the road. And they just came into T-Mobile Park and took 2 of 3 from us, and pretty handedly. I mean, today we had 2 hits before Kelnick ripped an absolute tank shot into the Hit It Here Cafe and got us down by 1. But we had 2 hits going into that. Both of those were home runs. Dylan Moore hit 1 and Mitch Haniger hit 1. But yeah, I mean, shit, taking only 1 win of the off of those guys at home in the middle of a playoff race just ain't what you want. Right. But yeah, I mean, we got them Red Sox coming up, and if we could take care of business, they're hurt right now. They're hurting hard with the COVID. Lots of their team has it. Speaking of, I have it, and it sucks. I got vaccinated a long time ago, and this last Sunday, I was a week ago from today. It's like 11 p.m., man. I just start cold sweating and everything. I'm like, shit, I have COVID. Like, I just knew it. Next day or so, I went and got tested and got COVID. But I know how Boston's feeling, I guess, in a way. Shit sucks. But
have you lost your taste and everything?
No, man. I got my taste. I just feel like I've had congestion in the middle of my face for a full week, and it's just been killing me. I've had cold sweats. I tell you, man, I've never sweat so much in my life for being sick. It was disgusting. But I could still eat and taste my food. I know I was talking with some people who like lost their taste, and like they would drink like Bacardi, and they couldn't even tell that they were drinking Bacardi. And I'm just like, that's disgusting. Yeah, right. It's absolutely nasty.
It's a blessing and a curse, I guess. In that.
If I was 21, it would be a massive blessing.
Yeah, right.
Now that I'm 27, I don't think it'd be as big of a blessing. Shoot, dude, if COVID was around when I was a 21-year-old and I had it and I couldn't, and I lost my sense of taste, recipe for disaster. Let me tell you what, man, I would be going off. But yeah, man, no, we got the Red Sox coming up. I hate the Red Sox. And what sucks most about COVID and me having it, today I was supposed to sit Diamond Club. Couldn't do that. I had to cancel those free tickets. Right. And now I can't go to T-Mobile Park when the Red Sox come to town. I'm the big advocate on, get as many people there as possible when these guys come to town, because all of the Patrick Stars come out of their freaking rocks and start the Red Sox come out of the weed works, whatever the hell I'm trying to say here. And they take over T-Mobile, and I hope to God that doesn't happen this time, because it's in the middle of a playoff race and arguably the most important series we have coming up this year. Shit, man, we need a sweep. We just need a sweep. Like we haven't gone.
Yeah.
I don't know the biggest run that the Mariners have had this year, but you look at the teams as of late that are all in this race right now. The Yankees, they won 13 in a row, and that, granted, now that they're like 2-8 in the last 10 or something like that, something bad. But that winning streak that they had let them be in the race still right now. And then the Blue Jays, they've gone on a tear of their own. And the Mariners, if we're going to want to really hang on, we're going to have to go on a massive streak in like a 6, 7, 8 game winning streak. And we're going to have that be now. I mean, against the Red Sox are going to be, they're the guys in front of us, and we got to shove it. We got to shove it to them.
Because don't we have the A's directly after the Red Sox?
No, we have the Royals directly after the Red Sox, and then the A's for 4.
Okay. Well, that still concerns me with Salvador Perez. I don't know what he has planned for us, but I hope he's merciful.
I don't think he's going to do what he did to us the first time. And, that's a bad team. We should be able to take care of them. But it's just like Soba was talking about. I mean, you can't predict how this team's going to perform when you're looking at the records of the other team. I mean, the Diamondbacks, we did sweep the Diamondbacks before, which was nice. But, they come in after playing so poorly on the road, and they just kind of steal the last 2 games of the series against us. And it's crucial time for us, and that just can't happen. I mean, I think the main overall feeling of this week was just a bunch of missed opportunities. Other teams losing. Yep. There was one day where every team in front of us lost, and we could have picked up a game, and we also lost. And then there was another day where that everyone lost in front of us, and we did pick up a game, and we're only 1 back. But after today, now we're back 3 again. The Blue Jays are on a tear. It's like I think so.
They won. They beat the Orioles today, 22-6.
Dude,
I don't know football score.
Yeah. What was stupid about that entire series? They had a doubleheader yesterday, and Toronto beat Baltimore. Baltimore was winning, and Toronto beat them in the 7th inning, scoring 4 runs when they were down by 3.
That's right.
And Toronto comes back. And then in the second game of that doubleheader, the Orioles had a no-hitter going into the last inning, into the 7th inning of the doubleheader. They had a no-hitter, and they were up 1-0, and they had a no-hitter, and they lost 11-1. Like, you've got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah.
You get a no-hitter, 1-0, and then they lost 11-2 because Baltimore scored in the bottom of the 7th. But in the top of that 7th, the Blue Jays scored 11 freaking runs and had 11 freaking hits. Like, you that's just rolling over and letting them do what they please to them. And I mean, I didn't have any faith in the Orioles, but shit, man, it looked like that they were really going to help us out 2 games in a row in one day, and both of those just go the wrong way. It's that was a nail biter, but also just like a dagger, man. That hurt.
Here's my problem, and even if in our group chat, right? Like we, especially the past several starts for Yusei, right? Yes, Yusei is struggling, and he's definitely not struggling at the right point in time for the season. But I mean, even still, like when we're losing these 1-run games to the Diamondbacks 5-4 back-to-back nights, what shouldn't be the case is we shouldn't have less than 6 runs to begin with.
No.
Right? Like our offense has to come together and see the ball better and hit the shit out of the ball. Like there's no other excuse. And honestly, I'm not blaming Yusei for today's loss. Or no, I'm sorry. Yesterday was Yusei. No, yesterday was
today was Yusei. Yes. Yeah.
Today was Yusei. And even still, right? Like we do expect dominant performances from both those. And in my opinion, I think Chris Flexen did worse than Yusei, but we have to, at the very least, just see way more out of the top of our order. And so every once in a while, the bottom of our order does show up to play, but that's what frustrates me the most.
What sucks, what also sucks on that in that regard is like when we're not hitting, but then like you see Kelnick, he hit that absolute tank. It's like shit. Like when he starts doing something, he hit a home run 2 games in a row, yesterday and today.
Right.
And you see him doing some things, but the rest of the offense can't pick it up. And yesterday, Cal Raleigh, he had 2 doubles, 1 from each side of the plate. The last player to do that was the guy going against us in the Seattle Mariners uniform. The last player to hit The last player in the MLB to hit a double from both sides of the plate was Ketel Marte before Cal Raleigh. And so, I mean, it's just like, it's cool to see Cal Raleigh do that and then Kelenic do his thing, but then the rest of the offense doesn't pick it up. It's like, damn, if we could just have all of these things clicking at once. It's like golf right now. I feel like in golf, what's like, your drive's working, but your irons are off, right? And then you figure out your irons, but then your driver loses it. And right now it's like the Mariners offense, like Mitch Haniger's on and JP Crawford's on, but then Kelenic and Raleigh at the bottom of the lineup, they're off. It's like we can't have everything working in perfect synchronization right now. It sucks.
Yeah. Right.
We mentioned Kikuchi there for a second, and it's probably a good time to kind of talk about that critical decision that the Mariners have to make at the end of the year. It's either you pick up a 4-year extension, effectively $66 million, which would make him a top 40 most highly paid pitcher in the league. So, kind of like a number 2 rotation pitcher, which he proved to be right now, or which I don't think we do. I don't think we pick that up. Or we could decline team option on Kikuchi, and that would effectively give him a player offer. He could sign with us for $13 million, or he could test free agency. And I'm of the opinion I would challenge him to I would put that on the table. Say we're not picking up the team option. If you really think you can go get more in free agency and you want to leave Seattle, go for it. We'll save the $13 million. But I would just kind of challenge him with it. I think he would come back for $13 million, and I don't think he would get. He might get $13 million somewhere. Maybe the Yankees or someone comes in that has an extra. $13 million to spend on a pitcher that's pitching like a 5th, rotation guy. But we've seen glimpses of greatness from Yusei. I mean, his stuff plays up. When he's on, he's very, very effective. We've seen what he's been since the All-Star break, which hasn't even been a top 5 rotation guy. He doesn't deserve that. He's not giving me a chance to win. But I would do the decline the team option. If he wants to accept the player option, come back for 1 year, $13 million, I would do that. But even that's a little rough. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely don't see us picking up that option either. He's good. He's always good in the first half of the season, but then he just runs out of stamina. I mean, it's been like we said on past shows, he just keeps running out of stamina, man, and he doesn't have it in him to go a full season to perform at a top level. Maybe he'll have those games here and there where he does show what he's had a lot of the season, but this is not often that he's showing that. Especially this late into the season, and I definitely think a different team would pick him up, like the Yankees or maybe the Dodgers. It seems like they pick up pitchers that are a 4 or 5 guy, and they do well for him. They make it work, but I just don't see him fitting in. The
one thing about it though, is when there's a guy with a high ceiling, you're more willing to take a risk on him, especially if he's been in your organization, and we've seen the glimpses of greatness. And it's like, if we can just bottle that, if we can just unlock your full potential, you say, you're worth $13 million. That would be awesome. And I think it would be hard to give up on him, especially with all the money that we have to spend. But then, like you said, the flip side of that is if we, or I don't think you said this, but the flip side of that is that $13 million will probably go to, a pitcher that's out there on the free agency market. So, if we just want to pivot and go after a Gausman and, use that money for a guy that Jerry's more comfortable with, then, in Jerry we trust. But I think it's going to be a very interesting one. And then, Kyle Seagers, he's overperformed on the year for his metrics. And so now that player or that team option, no, it's a player option, has gone up to $20 million. So he's even more expensive now than we would have thought. I think they're both gone.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I've been saying I'm okay with Seager staying, but in all reality, I don't think he's gonna stay. I don't think we're gonna pick up that option,
right,
or whatever. But yeah, I mean, same what you say. I mean, just based off of his performance, I don't see him. I don't see him staying with us. But shit, man, and Jerry we trust and what he does, and I'm all for it.
I mean, in my opinion, I think at the very least we have Chris Flexen. I think Chris Flexen is going to take our number 2 if we're assuming that Marco remains number 1, and Marco has kind of proven himself down the home stretch, but Chris Flexen leads our staff, our pitching staff in wins, and honestly, that's what we need, and that's what we need to reward the most. So at the very least, we have Flexen, and I'm excited about Anderson. Right. I think ownership really needs to make a play here. I think, Jerry DiPoto, now that he does have his contract extension, I think ownership really has to look at themselves and say, hey, look, we're the 20th percentile in salary cap out of the entire MLB organization, right? Like, let's stop. I mean, pardon my French, but let's stop fucking around. Let's go have money to play with. Like, let's actually make an investment for a playoff run this year.
And those guys that you mentioned, Marco, Flexen, then Gilbert and Anderson, they all look a lot better if you just slide them down one peg each. If Marco's your 2, if Flexen's your 3,
totally,
you'd be a great 3.
Yeah.
And then you go, like you're talking about, you fill that number 1 spot with a bona fide ace.
Right. Completely. Because exactly. Who was it that was telling us that at the beginning of the season? Like, he might have been a Mariner fan or a naysayer or something, but he was like, like Marco Gonzalez should not be an ace on any baseball team.
He shouldn't. He shouldn't be. He can't be. Right. He's not an ace. He's got the mentality to be an ace, just doesn't have the stuff to be an ace.
Yeah, completely.
But I'm just seeing this right now as I'm reading through some notes. Tyler Anderson is on bereavement leave. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes. But I saw that it won't really affect like his performance. I guess he just pitched for us, so he should be able to make his next start because I got him on my fantasy baseball team, so I've been keeping an eye on that. But yeah. So, but he should be back for his next start, is what they're saying. So that's a good sign. But
speaking of
fantasy, did you guys participate this year?
Oh baby, better believe it.
In football,
Max, yes, fantasy football.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's take a little fantasy football break. Big Seahawks win today. Let's go.
Dude, massive.
Shout out, week 1.
We're on the right track.
ESPN projected us to start the season at 0-9, by the way.
Dude, that can't be.
That was some simulation, like they simulated.
Jeez, I did see this.
Yeah, I just want to go. Oh, go ahead.
Someone should lose their job over that. But
the job, they're just reporting what the simulation said. That's Madden's fault.
I still think they should lose their job for reporting like the most abysmal numbers that will never be true. Amari Cooper was my Thursday night king, 26 points. Today I also had Kyler Murray, and everyone else has played pretty, average. Tyreek Hill, actually. I don't know. I quite literally woke up from a nap right before this, so it's been a sec since I checked my fantasy scores, but all signs pointed to a big Max Schwabe win this week.
But do you know what Tyreek Hill did?
No, I don't.
Okay. Then,
he had a great outing today.
Okay. Well,
I'm playing him in our league. Yeah, he had at least, I think he had a 30 burger free max. So
high rack.
Yeah.
I'm starting to sweat just like profusely again right now. I hate COVID so much.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I said I'm starting to just like sweat profusely right now. It's ridiculous, dude. I hate COVID.
One last thing, I guess. Chris Soba and I, obviously, I'm not talking about myself. We got some guys left to play, but we are down big. But who did we put out? We put out Jalen Hurts, great game, and then Kelsey and Robbie Anderson. But we got a lot of guys to play, and we're projected to lose by about 21. But back to baseball, I guess.
Back to baseball.
Well,
so
no.
We got.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, what I was just gonna say, I have 105 points right now, and I still have Josh Jacobs, Marquise Brown, and Baltimore defense. and I already have 105 points. And my opponent this weekend, Zach Peggins, he's a big sports guy. He has 72 points, and his projected is 72 points, which means he is done. So I got 2 wins this weekend, fantasy and Seahawks, and I got 3 losses, 2 Mariners losses, and 1 Husky.
Your Huskies suck.
Yeah, my Huskies suck, dude.
Yes,
like,
and
I'm going to be honest.
I'm so here for all of it. But let's get back to baseball and get back to the good stuff.
Sure.
This is a baseball podcast, but I think Matt Brash might be coming up, but towards the end of the year to pitch out of the bullpen, which I'd be really excited to see. I was listening to Jerry DePoto on the Wheelhouse, and as he said before, Double A is a call away from the MLB, and I think that he'll be coming up maybe in like half a week or so, and we could be seeing some good things out of him, just out of the bullpen. I know we had Justice Sheffield just join the bullpen, and he did not have a good outing when he came to relief Chris Flexen. I think he gave up like 2 hits or something, or 2 runs, excuse me, and 2 balls. He actually got 2 outs and then couldn't get out after that. So, I mean, that's what he does. He gets 2 quick outs and then he gives up runs, and that's just kind of been his MO all year. But just to get Matt Brash in there and just get him some experience would be huge. And then I also just I know some people get pissed off at seeing, when these guys are struggling, Kelenic and Cal Raleigh, and they're like, oh, get them out of the lineup. But with us still having them in there and getting like the experience in these big situations, like Cal Raleigh, he came in to pinch hit today after Kelenic hit the bomb. And I'm like, shit, if he could do something, he struck out. I think on like 3 pitches too. It was an ugly at bat. But Cal Raleigh's taken a bit slower approach to getting acclimated, I guess, in the MLB. Kelenic seems to be turning a corner with the reps he's getting. He's been hitting the ball so much harder. And if he can stay somewhat hot, I don't want to say he's hot right now because he's not, but 2 home runs in 2 games, it's pretty decent. So if he can just keep that up, man, I mean, fuck, I really, really don't want this to slip away. I really don't want it to slip away. And it's just been such a damn good season. And for us to be where we're at is incredible. And I don't want to be greedy, but I'm greedy as hell. And I want these playoffs so freaking bad.
And one thing we can't appreciate, right? And it's hard to appreciate these things when we are so hungry for this is, when we did our record predictions on episode 1 of this podcast, we got a lot of responses saying, what the hell are you talking about? Right. And we'll have to revisit what those projections were on one of our last episodes, but right now, like we did have a great season thus far, and quite frankly, we weren't expecting it, right? Or at least the fan base, or at least Major League Baseball, right? So we should be proud of where we're at, but yeah, it's hard to see the greener grass when you're so goddamn close to it. You can taste it. What I do want to kind of go through now, if it makes sense for you guys, is the remainder of our competition schedules, right? Like, who do the Yankees got? Who the Red Sox got? Who do the Blue Jays got? And who do the Athletics got? Right. So there's my jersey. Thank you, Chris. I see you have my green,
I got your jersey, Max.
I see you have my green jersey from China.
Yes. Yes. So your girl Abia gave it to me, Max.
She just moved to New York City.
Yep.
Yeah, she did.
If you guys have a tiny bit of time, we'll go through this and try to keep these in mind and think about how hard do you think the schedule is. So
run it.
Yankees have 1 more against the Mets.
Right. They're playing as we speak, top of the first.
Yep. Then they get a weird game, just a weird random game against the Twins. It's a makeup game. So they got 1 against the Mets, 1 against the Twins. They go 3 against Baltimore, which is easy, 3 against Cleveland, which is easy, 3 against Texas, which is easy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Then they go Red Sox, Jays. So Yankees have a pretty easy schedule. We're going to need a little help there. Yeah. Boston, as we know, goes 3 against Seattle. We need to just sweep that series. We need to even the playing field right off the bat.
Yeah.
Then Boston goes 3 against Baltimore. That's easy. 2 against the Mets. Hopefully the Mets can come up with something there. 3 against the Yankees, 3 against Baltimore, 3 against the Nationals. Pretty easy.
Okay. No, I don't know. That's not too easy. I think Boston has a tough schedule, but I'm looking at the Blue Jays schedule, right?
Yeah.
Their next series is against the Rays.
3 against the Rays.
Game series. 3 against the Twins. Meh, whatever. Sometimes in my opinion, sometimes the Twins turn things around surprisingly. And then they have another series against the Rays in Tampa Bay. Then the Twins again in Kansas City, and then they finish off September with the Yankees.
I think the Twins are one of the worst pitching teams in baseball, and the Blue Jays just are one of the best hitting teams. So
yeah,
they're so good. That lineup is stupid.
Yeah, stupid lineup in a good way. But that 7 games against the Twins, that scares me a lot. And you know, we can almost, when you're playing this game where you're watching other teams, it's kind of like just allow the Blue Jays to take that number 1 spot, and then let's focus on the Yankees, the Red Sox, and then the Athletics, who are tied with us.
Right.
The Athletics, they have 3 against Kansas City, which is easy. 3 against the Angels, which is easy. They go 4 against us, 3 against Houston, and then 3 against us and 3 against Houston. So their last, 13 games are against the Mariners and Houston. That's obviously, if you're the A's, you would think that's pretty tough. You know, so these next 2 series are pretty easy for them, and then they end pretty tough. When I'm just looking at that, I think Toronto's a shoe-in. I think Oakland probably, it's going to be dependent on those games against us. But I'm really just looking at the Yankees and Red Sox.
Yeah.
And this next series is so critical, crucial. You gotta sweep the Red Sox. At least take the series 2-1.
I mean, my heart is pounding, literally. Like I will admit, I did take a nap a little bit after the Seahawks game itself finished and had Red Zone in the background, and I've been looking forward to these days for so long. Like after a long weekend, just kind of kick back, watch football, sometimes take a nap. But when I woke up and saw that the Mariners had lost, the gears in my head started turning, and I was like, shit, dude, I can't be thinking like this, but I think we might be blown.
Max, get your negativity out of here.
I have too much of it, man.
Yeah, you do. You're full of it. You're a glass full of negativity, man. Empty that shit out.
A glass empty of negativity.
A glass full.
His heart is pounding, and he took a nap. I'm like, can't beat a heart pounding nap.
But I do want to touch on something you said. How you've been waiting for these days. I am a big non-drinker on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Lord's Day, right? I just don't drink on Sundays. But with like I was sitting in my house today, and like obviously I have COVID, so I can't do anything. But I'm like, shoot, like I want to get after it today. Like I wanted to go out and like to a bar today so bad and just like get shit faced and have a ton of beer and wings and just watch some football, man. And next Sunday, I think I'm gonna get after it next Sunday. It's a hell of a time of the year, man. We got so many sports going on right now.
I got a fun game I want to play with you guys.
Okay.
We can call it Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Okay.
Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah. This player is in front of you, and he's asking, should I stay or should I go? And it's your decision. Should they stay, or are they off the team next year?
I like that.
I'm going to go first, Dylan Moore, and you guys can all answer. Should I stay or should I go?
He should go. I love Dylan Moore. I love his Fred Flintstone run out the box whenever he gets a hit. And Dylan Moore will be the first to tell you that the tool that he brings that is very valuable to any team is base running, which is very true. He had 2 stolen bases in yesterday's game. Both of them were it was when Madison Bumgarner was pitching. I think it was the first game of the series. And both of the bases that were stolen were pickoff attempts. And Madison threw it to first base, and Dylan then swiped second before the ball got to second base and he evaded the tag. He did that twice. Dylan Moore will always say that speed in base running ability is absolutely key, which it is. It's crucial.
And just versatility in the field, right?
And his damn, he's a hell of a defender. But yeah,
you're gonna say
I don't care. No, I'm just gonna say I don't care as much about someone's glove as I do about their bat.
Yeah. I gotta stay. I think I do see a lot of potential in Dylan Moore, and I mean I don't really have all the stats to back it up, but just it's more of a gut feeling kind of thing. I think he is just too young right now to dismiss, but then again we have so many of those. Right, we have Jared Kelenic and we have Cal Raleigh, all in very, very similar situations. But I can't recall, was Dylan Moore one of our guys that we were looking at, like kind of our saving grace?
Well, we expected him to have a hell of a season. I mean, the way he had last year, I mean, he was all over every single fastball, and it seemed like he could just be on time with it every single time. He could just hammer the fastball, but he ain't doing that this year. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's hit timely dingers. I mean, that home run against that grand salami against Houston was insane, man. But that's just one hit out of a lot.
Well, I tell you what, if we
leave it up to if he stays or goes, we have
shit. Sorry, we'll edit that out. But I was gonna say, if we're assuming that Jared Kelenic and Cal Raleigh stick around. Maybe I will stay. I'm
gonna go ahead and assume that yes, they do stick around, Max.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Maybe I think I will say go, right, because what else just popped in my mind is we're getting Kyle Lewis back next year, which means right, like we're gonna have plenty of outfielders, and the assumption is too that Julio Rodriguez is on his way up next year. So that said, like I think Dylan Moore should go.
All right, another one. We got Tom Murphy.
Go. Goodbye, Tom.
Man. He's gone.
You're fun and everything, but you're just weird and not consistent. And
don't go call my boy weird,
dude.
Don't go call my boy.
He's got
weird.
some pop in the bat every once in a while.
Sure. He's a. What, you think he's weird because Tom Crazy Face?
Crazy Face, dude. Ever since I saw Crazy Face, I was like, ugh, I don't want that guy on my team, dude.
Man, thank God he's not your dad, because that's the face he makes for his kids.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
that's how he gets them all.
Well, maybe you can grow up and get accustomed to that. Maybe it's an acquired taste, but after seeing that on live television, I don't know. And he's not consistent, and
he's consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. What about you?
I got the last
Soba? Hold on. I want to hear what Soba says about
Tom. No, he needs to go. He's gonna go. He just can't hit, and it sucks to say that. But we're probably going to get a catcher, sign a veteran catcher on a 1-year deal next year to continue to combat the growth of Cal Raleigh, and we're going to need that catcher there for the veteran presence. But I think it was like Joe Doyle, or I forget who said it, but John Gomes. It would be like a likely maybe pickup that we could use behind the plate. But no, Tom Murphy, especially going into next year when we're really going to be fighting for the playoffs, that's Jerry's timeline. We're not going to be able to afford having a guy hitting just above the Mendoza line. He just got above the Mendoza line like this last week on the stretch that he's been on. He's batting like 207 right now. It's very bad, but he's on a little bit of a hot streak right now for himself. So maybe change my mind, Tom. Change my mind, please. I want you to continue raking, but do it every single game from here on out, and you'll change my mind.
Well, that's about it for should I stay or should I go?
So picks to hit. I had Ty France, and he had 4 points, but Max Schwabe, who wasn't even here last week. We did a courtesy pick for him. We gave him JP Crawford. And Schwabi, ladies and gentlemen, Max Schwabi comes to the table with just a couple weeks left in the season to get his first W. He gets his first W pick to hit Max. How's it feel? How's it feel to be given a player in win?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, here's what I'll say. It feels like this should be the new norm for me. So now that I am here this week and we go down through our picks to hit, I want you guys to pick a player for me. And actually, never mind, that makes no sense because you're gonna pick you're gonna pick freaking Shed Long or Taylor Trammell or something. But it does feel good. I'm glad that at least I can come out of the season with one win. I am bummed that I wasn't there to actually make that pick, but it just shows how much we look out for each other on this podcast. If you can say that. So we're boys. So moving on. I'm down for another win.
Awesome. Yeah. Then I only had 4 points with Ty France. Seager had 6 points, which Zweifel had. Evan, who'd you have again?
I had Toro and he had 5 points.
5. Damn. So that means it's Max first, Zweifel second, and then
Evan third.
Evan, and then me. God, worst first to last is where I go. That's how my pick to hits have gone this year. Fuck.
Dun,
All right, Schwabi.
Okay. So I'm looking at the lineup, right? And assuming that we haven't had any what Chris refers to as the injury bug.
Why do only I refer to that? Everybody calls it the injury bug.
Well, I think there have been like 6 episodes this season where you're just like, oh, we have an injury bug after like the 30th person goes down for COVID or some sort of ankle injury or whatever. But anyway, I'm not here to make fun of you. That's for off the podcast. This week, in the most important week of perhaps the 20 years of the playoff drought, I am going to choose, drum roll, edit in that freaking drum roll, Tyler France.
Tyler.
His name is his first name is definitely not Tyler.
Shoot, really? It's not his full name?
I don't know. It could be.
Okay, well, here's a...
Lock it in. Tyler France.
Tyler France.
Yeah, look this up. I'm curious as hell.
And while you guys pick your picks, I'll do...
Okay, Zweifel, who you got next?
I think just because we need Haniger to kind of turn it around, and he's been hitting a little bit better lately. But I'm gonna go Mitch. We'll throw Mitch.
One thing about Mitch Haniger that I noticed today, I don't know if it's been on more than at bats than the one I was watching specifically today, but he laid off a slider from a right-handed pitcher, and it was going low and away. He laid off of it and got the walk, and I was like, wow, you are normally always swinging at that. And so that was great to see. I hope he continues that. I'm not mad at that pick. There's Weifel. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you there.
Before we move on to you, Evan, I just looked up Ty France stats, fantasy news. His full name is Tyler Lawrence France.
Damn, bro, Tyler France. All right.
I really like Tyler.
First I've heard
better,
but you called him Tyler even by his real freaking name, I guess.
I'm a pretty intuitive dude.
Sure. All right, Zweif, you up?
Zweifel just went. I will take Jared Kelenic this week.
Oof. You bastard, man. I was gonna ride with Jared, man. He's picking it up a little bit.
It's a huge week too with the Red Sox in town. You know he wants to put on a show, and I mean, like you said, he wants to bury his hand, or what was it, bury his hand in rings or something like that. So like,
yeah.
So it's a huge, you know, he's going to be fired up. So with the Red Sox coming into town, so yeah, I got him.
All right, and then we're going with my boy Luis Torrens. I like what I'm seeing from Luis, man. He had some opportunities today. He didn't really do too much. He did get on base actually for Jared Kelenich's home run, which was good to see. It was a dribbler to the third baseman, and it was an infield hit. But all in all, I mean, Torrens has been having an awesome second time up in the big leagues ever since we dropped him down and brought him back up.
Right.
But that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with my boy Luis Torrens.
Does Luis Torrens have? Does that merit a should I stay or should I go conversation?
Actually, yeah, I had him and Jake Bowers on here. I think Bowers is a for sure go.
What the hell was Torrens doing on the should I stay or should I go? He stays. No question. No question.
And it would have been a stay, and I didn't ask it for that reason. But there is, a thought that our outfield is going to be pretty much a rotation between Kyle Lewis, Kelenic, Haniger, and Julio Rodriguez. So one of those guys DHs.
Right.
And Torrens can't catch, which maybe he can, maybe he can't. He hasn't really proven he can. There's not really a role for him on the team. I mean, he's a backup, I guess, first baseman. He could be a backup catcher, I guess, in a pinch, but he really doesn't have a solidified role on there. He might just be better as a trade piece to another team. But all that said, I think he does stay.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm just saying, Luis Torrens, when he
I can live with that.
I believe Luis Torrens was like a Rule 5 draft pick something like that for the Padres. And when if you don't know, as a Rule 5 draft pick, when the Padres pick him, they have to keep him on their 26-man roster, else he goes back to the team that they drafted him from. And they kept him on a roster for like an entire year during his development, which he didn't really play. And so he essentially lost a full year of development. And he's only 25 years old. And so he's still got plenty of time to develop. And then add on COVID, or not really COVID, he was in the big leagues, but he missed a year of development essentially. And so I think he's still got a lot more in him in terms of growth within the field, but his growth at the plate has been tremendous. And I don't want to lose that quite yet. But if you utilize that in a trade piece, then I don't know, Jerry can work his magic. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we got. Before we do sign off though, yesterday was a very important day in American history. It was the anniversary of September 11th. And always when that time of the year comes around, there's that one specific story that I've always heard. I'm sure y'all have heard it too, which is just like a tearjerker. But it's the man in the red bandana. And if you haven't heard that story, I highly suggest going to YouTube and watching the clip. It's just about this guy that ended up giving his life to save others. And just, I did want to take a moment to recognize that day, the people that we lost. And obviously just like the worst day in American history, but yeah, just didn't want to fail to not bring that up. I mean, what a day. And just to remember everybody that lost their lives, on that tragic day.
Yeah, one of the things that came about after that, which is one of the positives. I mean, it's hard to even find a positive, but everyone on that day came together. Every American, doesn't matter if you're on the left, right, we all came together, and we were all Americans. And it'd be nice to kind of remember that, and maybe have this day as we go forward. Always look back and realize that no matter what our differences is, we're stronger when we're coming together. And we're all Americans, and we're all very blessed to be Americans. So
absolutely.
Good shout out there.
Yep.
I love it.
On that note, we will end it. We've got a few more weeks left of baseball.
Keep your heads high. Max, I'm talking to you. Keep your heads high.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's a little, at least comical, for me to sprinkle in some of my negativity just so you guys can keep me in check. But on that note, instead of finishing off the podcast with Go Mariners, I agree with your guys' sentiment on the 20th year of anniversary of 9/11. We pray and send vibes and thoughts to those affected and those that lost their lives, and we will never forget.